Hey guys, welcome back to Tenmo Play. Oh, wrong channel. I'm here to give you one fact about Teemo, guys. Before you level up your shroom to level 2, make sure your shrooms are maxed out. This will instantly generate your 4th shroom, so you can have an extra shroom to put down. You can also do this when you level your ult to 3 as well. Well, there you go. Do not ask for any more facts. Bye.
Well, I guess on that note, thanks Pianta, and here is 6 minutes of useless information about Tenmo. And as always, if you enjoy, make sure to poke that sub button. Also, I got a special puppy for you guys today. Is my sister's puppy that she just got. Alright, let's go. The player who likes to make children cry the most is Brie Cheesee from the Korean server with 8,556,636 mastery points. The Ghost Ignite Summoner spell combo has a higher win rate than Flash Ignite on Teemo by almost 2%. According to Riot, one of the inspirations for Teemo were the Ewoks from Star Wars. And the inspiration for Yordles was because of a dream Jeff Jew had about Yoda. Their goal was to develop a small but mighty champion that could embody the underdog end of a champion. Additionally, Teemo was the first champion to be identified as a Yordle and also the champion that inspired the creation of Yordles in general. There was a minigame called Astro Teemo, which was inside of the Cho'Gath Eats the World game. It was very similar to the popular game Jetpack Joyride. Players could unlock it once they reached level 4 in the Cho'Gath Eats the World game. The Rainbow Trail Teemo has was also inspired by Nyan Cat, and while you were playing the game, you get things like ash arrows thrown at you and JCs as well. Teemo is categorized as a support for 3 years. Approximately 75 Teemos die every second, but that number is almost guaranteed to be higher now since it was taken so long ago. There's a site called Teemo.gg, which is like op.gg, but it also has a 3D model viewer where you can pose different champions. Unfortunately, I don't think it works anymore, but it also could just be me. When Teemo uses his W using the Super Teemo skin, he not only flies around, but you can also hear the classic superhero tune play. Also, his eyes are wide open on the skin, which kinda creeps me out. When using the Panda Teemo skin, the shrooms become sticky rice dumplings that are traditionally eaten during the Dragon Boat Festival. If you think Teemo is annoying now, he used to literally, and I quote, shoot a nuke, which was supposed to be a reference to StarCraft. Now, there's no actual footage of what it looked like, but they described it as pretty much being the same thing as the one from StarCraft, which would have looked like this. So yeah. Another variation of Teemo's ultimate was a massive poison dart that smacked the enemy with some insanely strong drugs that put you to sleep for 6 seconds. Yes, you heard that right. 6 seconds. On top of that, it would drain their mana, so mages would be completely boned by the time they woke up. With that being said, the target would wake up on damage, kind of like Zoe's bubble or Lilia's R, but 6 seconds. That's the equivalent of 3 Morgana Qs. What the? Teemo's current ultimate with the exploding mushrooms was inspired by one tiny mushroom on Summoner's Rift that one of the developers saw. He knew he wanted the ultimate to have a drug effect to it, so after seeing the mushroom, he asked the artist to cut it out of the map and enlarge it, and yeah, the rest was history. Also, fun fact about the shrooms, they weren't originally supposed to spin around once they were placed. It was just kind of a glitch that happened when it was made, but they kept it in because they thought it looked good. They never did figure out the real reason behind why it was spinning in the first place, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. You could place shrooms the normal boring way where they bounce only a few times and they go really far, or you could do it the really fun way where you place it as close to another shroom as possible and make them bounce a billion times before that reaches their destination. I highly recommend. Teemo used to have a few different passives in development, both relative around the idea of him being a literal scout for his team. One was called Pathfinder and the other was called Trailblazer. He would basically leave a trail behind him that temporarily granted vision and made allies faster. However, this didn't work so well because he's not exactly tanky and would just kind of get blown up when he went out by himself. Teemo has a role in his W on Wild Rift. I don't know why they make things cooler in Wild Rift. Teemo's devil skin technically has 2 faces. One is just a submesh, which basically just appears over the top of his other face, but disappears during his recall to get the more malicious looking face. In Season 2 of Worlds during an all-star game, Machnoon tried to pull off a legendary jungle camp steal, but it didn't go so well. Respect for not being insanely tryhard like the other team though.
The exhaust goes down and the Machnoon show could quickly be canceled in a few seconds. First blood to Diamond.
Also, Teemo has such a peaceful looking death. Teemo was one of the first champions to have their dance changed, which is now the Badger Dance. There's an old video by Ninja Charlie T where Yi fights a Teemo and Yi ultimately ends up smiting them and punting him into a turret. Pretty satisfying stuff, I have to say. Teemo's Vandal Scout mission badge number 389 is Adopt a Pet, which you can also see in the Yordle cinematic.
Vandal Scout mission badge number 389, Adopt a Pet.
Teemo is the smallest champion in the game, and because of that, he has also officially become a unit of measure in the game, which is 100 by 100 units. Ironically, Teemo's actual size is 110 units in diameter, but I guess it was close enough. Omega Squad Teemo is voiced by a different voice actor because the previous one no longer worked for Riot. There's a game mode called Doombots which features a huge thick Teemo running it down mid, and the goal is to try and stop him. There's also a bunch of other OP bots trying to kill you. Omega Squad Teemo's helmet was inspired by the Brotherhood of Steels from Fallout. Teemo is partially based off an emoticon, which is also why his name is an anagram for emote. Here's a clip of Teemo throwing shrooms from one side of the map to the other in a game and getting a kill. Teemo can actually dodge a Mordekaiser ult if he goes invisible right when Mordekaiser uses his ultimate. There's an Eternal called Blinded by Hate, which counts the amount of attacks missed by the enemy champion because they were blinded. Cottontail Teemo's taunt can be heard globally in-game. In Super Teemo's splash art, you can see Bandle City in the background. Also in Bandle City, it's said that every sensation is heightened for non-Yordles. Colors are brighter, food and drink intoxicates the senses for years once tasted and will never be forgotten. The Beemo skin was one of the very few skins released to the live servers without any testing on the PBE server. Apparently, Teemo also came from a napkin drawing.
We found something, a nugget, like Teemo came from a napkin drawing.
Rumble's not a huge fan of Teemo because Teemo's good friends with Tristana and Rumble has a crush on Tristana. Teemo's released February 21st, 2009, which is also why it's the official Teemo Day. TeemoSlayer.net. Do it. Omega Squad Teemo actually comes from a different universe and also has PTSD from all the fighting and war. Also, Omega Squad Teemo's joke animation is a reference to Castaway Wilson, where he talks to a shroom with his face painted on it. And lastly, Teemo can blind Lee Sin. But if Lee Sin's already blind, is that a double negative? Does that mean Teemo actually gives Lee Sin vision when he blinds him?
The prophecy is true.
Really quick, I want to give a big shout out to my first Patreons, Sapser, Orion, and Dylan. Thank you all so much for your support. All right, bye.